In this fifth demo, we're going to go from formatting text to formatting paragraphs. We're looking at the same document that I used in demo 4, but we're going to do some paragraph orienting and alignment and formatting. Notice that when I click in a paragraph, as opposed to selecting text, a paragraph change only has to be made by being in the paragraph, and then the whole paragraph is affected. For example, watch what happens. I'm here in this paragraph. I hit the center. All of the lines become centered. Or I hit the right alignment of the text, lined up on the right. Or justify, where both sides, like a newspaper, are lined up. So, nice thing about this is you don't have to worry about selecting the whole paragraph. You just need to be in the paragraph when you want to do a paragraph. So this paragraph group under Home is going to be the main area that we work with. We have our alignments, as we've just seen. We're going to be doing the bullets and the numbering lists later in a different demo. We'll look at indenting the paragraph. Those are important things. Columns can be done later as well. There'll be a special demo for that. Line spacing will be one that we use, as well as borders and shading. So let's move some of these paragraphs down a little bit. I'm going to get behind that particular one and get the minor information out. Now, even though this is just a couple of words and a number, the name and the number, it's still a paragraph. If you look at the show and hide, it has a paragraph, even though it doesn't have a whole bunch of sentences. So the paragraph changes can be applied to it as well, just by clicking. So I'm going to center that underneath the covered bridge title. I'm going to do the same thing with the next set. In this case, I have to touch both of them to do them together. So that's just a matter of selecting some of the text in both of them, kind of overriding, and then that goes to the middle. So I'll turn off the show hide and we'll go down to this paragraph. So if I want to change this paragraph as far as alignment, again, we saw that. It's just a matter of using these and deciding which ones. I'm going to put it back into justify mode. Then I might want to change the line spacing. So here's my line spacing. If I want to go to 1.5 lines, then it would space it out like that. Notice there is a line spacing option. And here we can look at some spacing options, not only for just this paragraph as far as its spacing, but look at, we can do indenting from this one. So indenting is left and right possibilities. So here's the spacing. This is before and after the paragraph. It's automatically set up to what 1.5 line spacing would be. So if I increase this, notice it increases by 6 points, which is a size when it comes to type style. And so let's say 6 points, and I'm basically adding 6 points before the paragraph and 6 points after the paragraph, leaving everything else the same. I hit OK. So it doesn't look like much was done, but it has created some spacing issues after the paragraph. So let's go in now and go back to line spacing options, and this time let's do some indenting. Let's indent 1/2 inch from the left and 1/2 inch from the right. This will bring us in 1/2 inch from each side at the margin, not the page, from the margin. Hit OK, and notice it moved in. But also notice that my drop cap didn't move, because remember, my drop cap is a separate text box, kind of like graphics. Think of it like graphics. It's a separate text box. Now I can move my drop cap in here and notice that it applies itself in there. So it still has the same issues of keeping the text around it, and I can move it around. But you've got to be careful with that drop cap. So I click on the text here, and we've come in 1/2 inch. Both the first line indent and the hanging indent. The hanging indent is everything after the first line. And over here we came in 1/2 inch as well. So there is one way of doing indenting of a paragraph. So you go to line spacing options, and then the indent. I'm going to take these back to 0 and go OK. So now it's gone back, and again, notice what happened. I've got to move my drop cap there. Now, up here we have some quick indenting, where you decrease an indent or you increase an indent. Now, if I increase the indent for the paragraph, I got to be in the paragraph, click on that, and notice it moves over. And I can decrease. But that only works on the left side of the paragraph. It only applies to the left side of the paragraph. Can I use Format Painter? Will the paragraph style that I've set up, like 1.5 spacing, I've indented 1/2 inch from the left, can I use that with Format Painter for the next paragraph down? Well, let's see what happens. Click on the Format Painter, go down to the next paragraph, just click inside, and notice that it applied itself to that particular paragraph. The same look that we have up here with this paragraph. So Paragraph Painter does work with this kind of style setup. Now, one of the other things you can do is create a border around them and shade them. Let's go down here to a paragraph that we don't have any kind of line spacing set up. We don't have any kind of drop cap set up. Just have a paragraph. So let's hit the Enter key here. And I want to be in this paragraph right here. The borders allow me to pick whatever border I want. I can pick a bottom border. This completely goes around the edge. So notice sets itself off from everything else. If I was interested in doing just sides, I could say I want a right side border and I want a bottom border. Notice both of them can be applied at the same time, not just one of them. Go in here to my paragraph and justify it, and you get a look like that. So let's put the outside, just totally create outside border. Now I can shade that, giving it a color. So I can fill the border. This is not the same as highlighting. Highlighting is done under fonts, and you have to select the text you want to highlight. Shading is not done that way. Shading is something that you add to the background here. Now, we find shading. It's not a shortcut here in the paragraph. We find shading up here under Format, Borders, and Shading. So we could actually do our borders from here instead of using the quick icon there in the paragraph group. So it's a box border. We can even put a shadow on it if we wanted to. We can change the color of the line if we wanted to. But if we want to do shading, and over here it's just a matter of picking the color we want as our background shade, and then hit OK. And then that's what you would get. So I put that little shadow on it with some shading in the background. So in Demo 5 here, we've looked at paragraph alignment. Looked at indenting paragraphs from the two perspectives, one that only gives us left indent, one that gives us both indents when we use the line spacing dialog box. We looked at adding a border around a paragraph and adding some shading into that bordered area in the paragraph. And we also looked at using the Format Painter to copy the style of a paragraph look.